What's up, everyone? Tyler Tamboline here, a.k.a. ToeTagginTambo, and we're back. It's week 1, baby. NFL season. Going to break it all down as usual. We have a brand new partnership with Sabersim. I'm sure my guy Hoopster will talk more about that here in a second, but got the same crew as usual. Hoop, Title, myself, going to be breaking down all the games for this Sunday main slate. There's massive contests out there still available. Some actually starting to fill up, so DFS is dead, they say, but it doesn't look like it, Hoop. What's going on, man? Excited to be back with you and the crew.
Yeah, definitely not dead for week 1 of NFL season. The prize pools are massive. So many different options, so many different price points, and yeah, we're fully back. I mean, this is what it's all about. It's the pinnacle of what we do. Week 1 of NFL, the showdown stuff was nice. It's been fun, but week 1, Sunday morning, it's what it's all about, man. We got a full slate of games. It's going to be a good one, and we're back all season long. You'll see us here, same place, same time. Mostly the same crew, and excited to be talking through some NFL today, boys. I mean, again, this is what it's all about. It feels damn good to be back.
Yeah, shout out our boy Rob. We're never running late. That's the best thing about our show. I got a Mac. We hit that thing with 59 seconds left before it clicked, so we got the intro in early enough. Title, baby, Free Money Sunday. We are back. You got the sheet up in the background. I mean, it looks like the lights got dusted off a little bit in behind there. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Oh, baby. Free Money Sunday. Very few days out there better. Prizes absolutely massive. Hey, it's not only DraftKings. I will say FanDuel, they have that $5, and they're giving back the $5. Like if you lose, put $750 and just say you lose $200, you get credited $200 with FanDuel money. So be on the lookout for that. Not often DK has it too, but $5 to win $1 million. That's pretty cool. Afternoon slates, early slates, showdown tonight. Your Ravens, Bills.
Oh, yeah.
What a game that is. Lions, Packers this afternoon. I know Nades and Hooper getting after it a little bit. I mean, we're officially back. Free Money Sunday. Can't wait. I'm ready to talk some football.
Yeah, Hoop, real quick before we get into it, I'll let you talk about the Sabersim partnership just quickly because that's big for this year with NFL. I know a lot of people. We know about SHIPIT Nation. We also know about Procrastination, and we know a lot of you are just showing up for the first time to check it out. We're going to get the marketing out of the way very quickly, but we're also the only site out there giving away $50,000 plus in cash and $27,000 plus in prizes. So it's important, and we will be announcing the Golden SHIPIT number 4 winner live on this show shortly. But Hoopster, the partnership with Sabersim is back. We put together a little bit of a graphic, but I'll let you just talk about it quickly. Now people can get their memberships with Sabersim included.
Yeah, I mean, if you are somebody that uses an optimizer and pays for content, there's no better spot to be because we have the most affordable price in the industry. You can now pair up Sabersim and our content, and the price tag is such a value when you compare it to paying for both things separately. You have the breakdown here on the screen. We have different plans, different packages to accommodate everybody. If you're just looking for it, like right here, you got the all access core, $99. You get access to Sabersim and all our content for $99. You cannot beat that. I mean, it is a hell of a deal. It gets you all our content. If you want to just do NFL, we have that package. I mean, everything you need to have success with DFS has kind of been our motto from the beginning, and we want to pair that up with the most affordable and best value in the industry, and we've done that. But yeah, the big change for our offerings from last year to this year is we are now fully partnered with Sabersim. Makes it easy to get your optimizer and content all in one place.
Yeah, you bet. And if you want just the NFL only, you can do that for $69 a month, or you can still lock in the whole season for $349. And then the big thing with SHIPIT Games, that's the big contest we've hosted for this year. It's a loyalty, retention, it's a community piece. It's only for SHIPIT Nation members. So if you want to get in the games, join the nation, you're automatically entered as long as it's a monthly or more package. So if you spend the $69, you get all of our NFL content, Sabersim, and you're in SHIPIT Games. Title, anything you want to add, man, before we hop into these games?
I mean, I think Sabersim's the best optimizer out there, but like we talked about Thursday, it's inputs and and the premium show with Sheets and Rio talked about on Friday. Very good in depth. Again, a new show this year for us. If you're a SHIPIT Nation member, I don't know what you're doing if you're not watching that show, but yeah, it's what you put into Sabersim. Sometimes you can make it and improve it. Your own ownership, own tweak stuff here and there, looking at what the field lineups do look at. But man, the portfolio diversifier. I know there's multiple different packages within Sabersim, but I think the biggest jump is that core to starter, the extra lineup it gets you, the portfolio diversification. Yeah, going in the weeds with that. Having each lineup where min uniques, long story short, doesn't take into consideration what you're playing. It's just diversifying by forcing you to get different players in, doing it the right way while it's looking at other stuff. Your min cash equity goes up. Your first place equity, you won't be eating into your own lineups as much. Little stuff like that. Just an awesome. They've continued to improve. Been around for years and years. It's been really cool to see. I'm very happy to partner with them. But yeah, like the Stone, it's the best tool in DFS and only gets better as the year goes. So incorporating both is huge.
We're going to be using that right away to kick it off. We're not going to show it all off, but we're going to have an early preview of that. Hoopster wants to know with Rob, what's behind the sheet, Title? What do we got?
It's not a dusty fan this year. It's a brown sheet. We're starting hot right out of the gate. Last year
behind the sheet is about 7 grown-ass men that are watching us right now, and you don't need to see them walking back and forth. But all the boys are over. We're excited for week 1. They're watching on the big screen.
The fellows were doing legit construction. I mean, they were hammering that thing into the wall before the show, and I was a little disappointed because I like seeing the traffic during the show. I mean, it was entertaining.
Yeah,
well, if you want it ripped down, we can rip it down, but I'm not sure everyone else wants to see that.
We might have to do that. We're going to break it all down with the Stone here. I'm going to get that pulled up shortly. Hoopster is going to pull up Sabersim. Before we do that, Title's probably going to go through just the weather and some of the stuff, but we'll do that like within the games, I think. But just real quick, Title, is there any grand scheme overview from you? But before we do that, I just got to chime in on Rob here for a second. Here's the thing. It's NFL week 1. Our goal, less is more. We're going to keep it down a little bit, but you can go watch another show, find out about Manscaped for the same 5 minutes, buy a land trimmer 2.0 and get your back done up, or you can come here and talk about DFS and how to actually win at the game, not just the picks and plays. So we appreciate you, and thank you for tuning in. Title, grand scheme over, baby. Grand scheme overview, baby. Let's kick off the week 1.
Yeah, I'll just say I've been here in the industry long enough where I don't miss doing any Manscaped promotions or anything like that. But
that's right.
As far as week 1, every game but one, 42.5 total to 47.5. What that means on top of very, very soft pricing is you will see a lot of spread out ownership. There's 12 games on the slate too, obviously, as the weeks go on, the bye weeks. The slates get thinner. I mean, you're just going to see like everyone's on the slate. The interesting part is there is stuff getting concentrated at the like receivers, the Bucas, the Tets. They're so cheap where it kind of leads most people into you can spend at running back. And when I say spend, I put it in quotes because these guys are still all way mispriced, high 6Ks, low 7Ks. Punting quarterback, people are definitely going to do that. And then you can even jam in more super teams, the Jamar Chases of the world. You can play who you want. There's enough value on the slate. And it's going to be really spread out. Like I think when we go back and look at the pros that really are just using the Sims, the Sheets of the world, Rio to an extent, whoever you name it, Chipotle Addict, Papa Gates, whoever you want to look at, I think you'll be surprised at how much people do spread it out on this slate just because you can jam so many different variations and get chalk. Or you can get low-owned pieces and stacks around really good chalky plays or so it looks like. But at the end of the day, it's week 1. Who really knows as we've seen a couple of these games so far, like Jaden Blue being scratched on Thursday. We didn't expect that. Doesn't look like we'll get too much of that today, but it's week 1. Embrace the variance.
Yeah, we like Rob. He can take a joke and move on. He loved it. My buddy texted me, said this man told Buddy to shave his back. He said just watching the show live. You know what? We're having fun with it. It's week 1. We love the people. We're all about community, and we mean it. Like that's why we give back the money and do all those things. But great breakdown from Title there. I did pull up the Stone on the screen. This is not a chill, if that's what you guys are looking for. Just to break it all down, it is included in the membership. But this is the tool everybody loves to use. And I talk about it. Hoop's going to have the Sabersim optimizer up here shortly and show sort of how some of the builds look. But as Title said, and we've been harping on this, your inputs are your outputs. That is, as we had in the intro, the most valuable optimizer. If you pair it with the most valuable content and you use something like the Stone right here, you can start to figure out what games you should be targeting. And keep in mind, this is not a single entry or 3 max or 150. We're not saying any of that. You can tie it back to whatever you want to, but you'll start to be able to put the pieces together. I use the Stone on this screen. I use Sabersim on this screen. I exclude all, and then I start building my own player pool, which then our projections and ownership will take over, and Sabersim will give me the best version of my player pool and give me those lineups to enter these tournaments in. So it's cut and dry. That's what we do. We're not going to share this because this is for the members, but there's a PDF file that's easy to use on mobile. That's the important piece there. If you're on an iPhone, you're like, dang, I don't got my full computer set up. Easy to use on that. If you are on a computer, you can literally download this you could almost, as some people say in our Discord, delete the names and leave the color codes and see the prices and just be able to go build the teams if you wanted to, because you can kind of build, correlation, stacking, all that stuff. If you have Sabersim, it will do it for you. But then you'll see we show, here's the first one, sneaky game, what the spread is, what the implied team total is, how they rank in our proprietary stack rankings, when the game starts, who they're up against. And then you see even further, some plays start to get tagged. So it's important to know that. Hoop, I don't know if you've got Sabersim up yet and ready to go, but what is your sort of grand scheme overview while we work on bringing that up?
Kind of what Title said, where I think a lot of things get spread out because there's so many plays that look very appealing and so many guys that look very underpriced. So I think we're going to see everything get spread out, which for me, I like that because, especially at the quarterback position, it always gets spread out. We talk about it. Like, it's very rare at the quarterback position for a guy to get like massively owned, like 30% owned or something like that, because everyone kind of plays their guys. They want to play their stack. So for me personally, like, the quarterback is a position, is a spot I do want to narrow it down a little bit, because I saw the same thing Title saw when I went through, ran my teams, looked at Saber score, looked at contest sims. It wants to spread it out and give you a little bit of everything. We were joking before the show, like, Title's even getting Spencer Rattler. Like, who the hell wants to play Spencer Rattler? And a lot of the guys that just, trust this stuff and just don't put any input in, are gonna play dudes like that. So I want to try to narrow it down a little bit at quarterback, because I do think a lot of people are just going to spread it out and play everyone. And I have some preferences, but I mean, the main thing here is the super soft pricing. We've talked about it on the show. We talked about it on the Friday Cash show. Just so many guys that look very, very underpriced at every single position. Hopefully, for week 2 that changes. Week 1's always going to be soft pricing, because they want to make it easy for you to build teams and then just continue to jam into contests. So the one thing definitely to caution yourself on is, you're going to build a team. You're going to say, damn, this thing looks good. How the hell can it lose? Just keep in mind, everybody's thinking that. Every team you build this week, you're going to build it, and not just yourself, but anyone. They're going to build the team. They're going to look at it and say, this is the nuts. How can it lose? Got to remember, everybody is thinking that when building teams this week. No matter what you do, if you pay up at quarterback, you pay down at quarterback. You pay for Jamar Chase at wide receiver. You don't pay for Jamar Chase at wide receiver. Every team is going to look good. If you save at tight end or spend at tight end, it has no effect on the rest of the lineup. They're all going to look really good. So caution yourself when building teams. Don't get too excited and go overboard week 1. We have a lot of NFL slates to come. We have a lot of showdown slates. We have a lot of 2-game slates. We have a lot of 3-game slates. There's so many opportunities in the NFL season. So just be careful week 1, because you don't want to, bust your full load here right out of the gate. You want to be able to play a little bit longer, if you know what I mean. You want to go a little bit to the distance. You don't want to get in there and a couple pumps and be done. Week 1 is pump 1. We don't want to be done pump 1. We want to continue on and get some action down the road. So be careful week 1. That's one thing I want to say.
That was a good 20-25 second. You kept that rolling. I like it, Hoopster.
Yeah.
That's the truth, though, man. It is the truth.
No, it always the truth.
It's easy to get week 1 NFL. It's easy to get a couple pumps and be done. You don't want to do that, man. We got a marathon we got to get through.
That was good.
This guy said, "Don't go Jim Levinstein on him, American Pie." Anybody who knows that movie back in the day, and old Nadia. But listen here, Title. Well, he pulls that up. Let's go to the first game. We go game by game.
Yeah, that's it. We could have got a good sponsorship out of that one.
Yeah, mid-season form. I mean, that was prime form.
Oh gosh. All right, let's go to the game 1 here, Title. I'll let Hoop work on the Sabersim stuff and keep working on his pump narratives. But let's go to Raiders at the Patriots. And you brought up, the weather, and I know the Discord talked about. We said we're going to bring it up a little bit more as we go throughout. This is certainly one that I think has been talked about a little bit just because of that spot. But I think optimizers projection sets are liking Drake May. But there's some other opportunities within this game, or maybe it just becomes an avoid. But let's see what your thoughts are here on Raiders at the Patriots.
Yeah, so this was the biggest weather game looking at raw stuff. Yellow-orange. It's the only bit of orange he has. He said it will absolutely pour pregame, and by game time, like on and off, could be some ongoing rain. I don't want to look at it too much. It doesn't look like the totals really budged too much. And we talk about it like with the rain. I mean, at the end of the day, if you get the ball in space with a shifty running back, receiver, whatever it may be. Like both, the footing can be tough on both sides. The offense knows where they want to go and run the route. Their defense necessarily doesn't. So I don't overreact to rain and precipitation too much. This spot, yeah, Drake May is definitely getting some ownership, and the rushing upside on Drake May, Saber seems to really like it. He definitely showed some off last year, and they only got better. Now they have Stephon Diggs, Travion Henderson, one of the biggest risers in best ball this summer, going to be the RB1 ahead of Stevenson, at least by everything that it looks like. I do expect them to actually mix in Stevenson, though, unlike pretty much Najee Harris was non-existent for the Chargers. I mean, seeing just like a Travion Henderson at 2.5%, why is that? It's because you don't need that savings at running back. You can find a lot easier projection, and it's easier to fit a lot of those guys in the 6K range, or the Connors, the Kamaras that are in the low 6K, high 5K range. But it's week 1. Like, what if Travion Henderson outsnaps Stevenson 80-20? This guy's explosive. One play, he can absolutely take it. They're at home. They're small favorites. He's someone I am going to manually bump up just because he has the ceiling to break the slate at absolutely no upside or absolutely no ownership, and he can play chalk around it. I also think you could play a Drake May with him. I also kind of like that because, I mean, Brock Bowers, really easy to fit at tight end. The Patriots, I think they're going to be tough to run on. And Jacoby Myers, Brock Bowers. Bowers is going to have some ownership. I do think McBride's chalkier. Again, it's easy to spend at tight end. That's why I want to get exposure to Jacoby in single, like a Travion and Jacoby. Diggs, Drake May, Jacoby. That's one way you can get different in this game. Outside of that, I don't think I really need to mess with any of the Trey Tuckers, like the more minuscule stuff. Give me some Diggs if I'm playing Drake May. I think Travion's a very interesting play. Bowers, Jacoby on the other side, because the Pats are tough up front. And I think they limit Genty, who I will say will be popular on FanDuel for his price, which is interesting.
You know what? I had a couple things trickle in just, looking at early. I didn't do my final builds yet or anything. We might have just lost Hoopster for the time being. If that's the case, we'll get it all settled and bring him back in here in a moment. But for now, I was going to say that because of what you said, the Jacoby / Brock Bowers stuff, and even Henderson on the other side is an interesting one. And if you've got the stone, you'll see it. Is there any thoughts there too, Title, just around Geno Smith and putting him in? He is 5,200 on DraftKings, only 7,000 on FanDuel.
Yeah, like again, I think pretty much every quarterback's in play. I'm gonna try and take I'm gonna be way more spread out than I really ever have, thanks to the new tool we have. But I'm gonna try and cross some off. Geno's just one I'm not gonna get to as much. The rain is a concern. I do think they try and slow the game down a bit. And I think we need big scores at quarterback. Like even some of these cheaper guys, I think we can see 25 plus. I don't see that outcome for Geno as much. I'll just hope it's a Brock Bowers 9 for 101 that you need him, but Geno 17 isn't enough or something like that. So it's not going to be any Geno for me today.
Yeah, real quick, just a secondary and Hoops back. I'll let him get off mute and hop into the next piece of the conversation. But I think the secondaries look pretty good. Like if you go like even Hunter Henry is interesting on the Patriots side, but like Henderson, Bowers, Henderson, Myers, they don't need their quarterbacks to get there. Henderson definitely does a running back. I'm saying, but like Myers doesn't need Geno to get there at $5,100, and he's what, $500 more than or $400 more in the case, or actually I think he's 100 cheaper if you go down to Tet. Yeah, Tet's even 52. So I mean, there's little pivots that you can do here with the more known name of, doesn't matter what you think talent level is, versus guys that are going to be popular just because it's first crack at people playing them in NFL DFS. So I think the secondaries are interesting for me. It's the interest is just in Henderson, Genty, Myers, Bowers, Henry. And before the weather was Drake May. Our guy Derek did pop in and say he's about 40 minutes from Foxborough. It's raining, but nothing insane and done by 11:45. So I think you could still go here if you want it, but I don't think there's going to be enough ownership on Bowers when you think about where everybody else is going, the Njoku stuff later. Hoop, what do you got on this one?
Yeah, I mean, after the season Bowers had last year, you would assume like he's just going to be super popular right out of the gate, and it's kind of not the case. But again, because everything is getting spread out for the most part, so no one's getting super popular. There's other, the other two big tight ends, McBride and Kittle, are on this slate as well. Njoku is going to be popular, so he's going to be lower owned than I would have anticipated in this spot. I think he's a great play. And really, outside of FanDuel with Genty, like he's probably the only, I mean, I'm going to play a little bit of Genty on DK, like just in case. Like, what if they just jam this dude and he has success? Like, I get it's a tougher matchup. I'm going to play some. Jacoby Myers, I think you can play a little bit of, but Bowers is definitely the primary play on the Raiders. And then on the Patriots side, like, I want to be ahead on Drake May. I think he kind of takes that leap a little bit this year. Has Stephon Diggs, has a reliable tight end in Hunter Henry. The Travion Henderson thing, like, I'm not sold that it's going to be like fully him. Like, I do think Stevenson still gets a solid amount of work, and you need big boy scores today. Like, at every spot, you're going to need big boy scores. So I don't necessarily want to rely on somebody that I think can potentially be in a split at least to start the season. So not really in on Henderson situation, but I'm in on May. And then Stephon Diggs is at a price point where there's very popular wide receivers right around him. The dude from Tampa Bay, Abuka, and then Tet McMillan as well, like, price right there. So Diggs can't get ownership, and I do like him at 5,300. Like, a young quarterback who I think takes the next step. I think he could lean on Diggs here. The weather situation, a little bit unfortunate, but what can you do? I'm not going to get off of it because of maybe a little bit of rain. Like, we've seen rain games score a ton of points, so I'm still in on it. But yeah, definitely my favorite part of this game is Drake May to Stephon Diggs, and I think both guys are right around 5% owned, potentially lower. So it's a nice low owned combination there. So definitely in on that.
Yeah, before we go to the next one, bring up anything else, just say quickly a couple thoughts that early in the season, week one, want everybody to know about, nothing to do with the site or anything, just more of the show type what we do. But our main thing is we try and teach you how to play, not who to play. So while we go game by game and give all these ideas, there is 3 people in the booth. We're going to try and speed up. Like, this next game might be pretty quick, to be honest, but just to note it, we're going to try and make it so you can get the most out of everything. But if you are taking notes, or if you are using this is kind of what we're talking about when you are using the site to say, well, what are all those guys saying? No more information overload, no more paralysis by analysis. What really hits home for you? Then you can take that information to go and build your lineups with, because you don't have to play everybody. It's kind of like, that's kind of the setup here. So you want to be able to take away what you can get from it and get the ideas of what you're looking for in good lineups, like those secondary stacks that we talked about. Thinking that just because you like Bowers and Myers, you have to play them both and play Geno is not the case, obviously, like Title and I talked through there. So before Hoop came back. So it's just kind of the notes, little things like that you can see. Title, do you have Henderson props up?
Yes.
What are they today?
For his rushing, so it's 40.5 and Stevenson's 42.5. But let me pull up the receiving, because that's where.
Well, you find that, I just wanted to point one thing out. As you can see here, that Diggs, we're showing 4% owned. I ran teams, and this is just sort of by projected points, only getting 2%. He's going to be a low owned play. Drake May, we're 5% ownership. I only got 4% on this initial 150 by projected score. So it just kind of backs up what I said there, where we can anticipate some lower owned options in those two guys.
19.5 is his receiving prop. I will say, like, guys like him, worthy to an extent. The guys that can absolutely just spring it on one play, but it's harder to, like, value their rushing or project their rushing attempts and receiving yard. Like, it's a lot of guesswork on what the split's going to be with Henderson, Stevenson. So, like, I almost, instead of, like, betting just over 40.5, like, I would, and again, this isn't a betting show, but you add like a 70 plus for something like that. He either completely gets there because the inputs on the receptions, on the rushing props, just on his playing time is just way off. It's week one, like, more so than they're valuing like a 60-40 split, it almost seems, at books. Hard to argue, but the big play upside he has to break the slate.
Yeah, almost 800 watching, 180 likes, guys. Let's keep getting those likes rolling. Also, quick notice, the Golden SHIPIT number 4 is coming soon. This is going to be for the early bird and annual package signups. Another quick note, winner number 3 from the other day, Matt, is in no matter what. He's in the finals, but he's almost trying to forfeit week 1 in the head-to-head with Hoopster. He didn't get back to us yet for the head-to-head, so we've emailed twice. We sent you a Discord ad, Matt. If you're watching, make sure that you get in on that action so you can try and win.
He needs to get in quick, because Big Nades is trying to fill the spot for entertainment purposes, and that's going to be nasty for Big Nades.
The battle of the teams today. Kim in our Discord, shout out to Kay Gould. She mentioned that it's not just the battle. It's not just the battle. It's the war too. You got Green Bay and Detroit.
I know. I'm gonna have to beat him in the head-to-head, because I'm not liking my side in that game. A little foreshadowing
shortly. Real quick, Hoop, I'll stay with you then. Steelers at Jets. I like the Steelers on defense. I'm getting a little bit of Jalen Warren, and I've got interest there just because you compare them together. That's a way to get different because I think you will see some steam on the Steelers. So stacking in these cheaper running backs where most land in the 6K range today, I think makes sense. But that's kind of the level of interest I've got on this one. What do you got, Hoop?
Yeah, probably the ugliest game on the slate. Lowest total, I think, 37.5. Just really gross. Justin Fields. I mean, you could probably find the end zone twice on the ground. You don't need to pair him with anyone. You can just play him. Steelers side, it's going to be tough. I mean, they have a couple running backs they're going to use. Aaron Rodgers, I mean, looks so bad. It's just crazy to me. Like people were pumping this up like it was like a big signing and a savior for the Steelers. Like, I'm an Aaron Rodgers fan, but he don't have it anymore. Like, he does not have it anymore. And I don't know. I think, they're going to struggle long term. I mean, this is obviously one of the better matchups they're going to see all year against the Jets team. That's probably not very good, but man, I struggle to trust Aaron Rodgers to get the job done offensively. So, not any the only thing I'm really playing here is going to be Fields naked lineups. But again, like DK Metcalf should be low owned if you have faith in Aaron Rodgers. The rest of the pass catchers low owned, but that's about it. Defenses, yeah. Someone said defenses. I'm in on the defenses.
Yeah, scary creations brings it up. Title, you got any thoughts on this one, man? This is the narrative street piece for sure. I looked up the birthdays. There's no good birthdays today, but anything else you want to talk about with this one? If not, we've got a really good game coming up next.
Yeah, no, defenses, but kind of just like the Jalen Warren. He's 5,200. Travion's 55. Like, if someone's getting 25 today and I'm the winner, it just feels more likely to me that it's a Travion and upside there than Warren. Like, it feels like we just kind of know what Warren is. Yeah, his rushing props 12 yards better. I think he's fine if you want to go Steelers D Warren, but that's kind of just back to the trade. Like, you have to make a case. Can this guy get you 20 plus, 25 plus when talking low 5K running backs today, 4K running backs, just with how soft pricing is.
Yeah, anything can happen too. And we've used this with wide receivers in the past. I think it's a great example of like, yeah, his prop is slightly higher, but that's like when Wan'Dale Robinson ends up getting, 6 for 60. And everyone's like, okay, he just catches it and falls, but he gets 6 catches last season. But Darius Slayton gets the 90-yard touchdown bomb, and it's already the same thing or more. And then he has a chance at the bonus, just one more catch or whatever it might be. It's like, those are the types of things you're looking for, especially week 1 with these big $5 tournaments out there and 700,000 people, whatever in it. Don't worry so much about that side of it. As to Title's point, look for the home run play. If it busts and it ends up being Ramondre instead of Henderson, that's possible too. But it's like just little things like that is more what you're looking for in that instance. I'll let you keep rolling, Title. Anything else to add there? If not, Buccaneers at the Falcons is next up.
Yeah, I mean, the game I think of the week pretty much in terms of DFS that people are talking in a dome. If you're wanting to look at a lot of past performances against each other's team, I mean, all these guys just absolutely nuke up and down. You have options on both sides. It's really nice with the Buccaneers with Godwin and McMillan on the IR to start. Like, it's all Mike Evans and Ibuka in 2 receiver sets. They'll be out there a ton. Like, I don't think I need really the Sterling Shepherds of the world, the Ray McLeods. Like, those are the plays I'm leaving out. If they get there, they can, like, in the $5 or whatever, I'll move on to next week. There's just so many other ways to build better lineups. Like, yes, this game's chalky. There's no doubt about that. But that's maybe when you play, talked about like Spencer Rattler, Gino. I'm not playing them, but you can play low-owned stacks and other stuff around the chalk. You can maybe overstack this game like Hoop did. I think the interesting thing is, I mean, 2 of the better running backs in football, and Bijan and Bucky Irving, that's kind of a way to get different in the fact of if you just play a Bucky and then you go to the other side with like a Drake London, or you go the Mike Evans with Bijan or something, you'll probably have less of this game than a decent amount of teams, and you just hope that one team keeps it on the ground a lot, and then all of that work just gets funneled to mainly one of those receivers. There's so many different ways you can go about it. I think it's the clear best game. I think Ibuka's the best play on the slate, in quotes. The price is just silly. All the buzz he has, he's going to play the Godwin role. There's so many outs to get there. Yeah, I mean, he's going to be one of my highest owned guys. And I think Drake London on the other side's one of my other favorite plays on the slate. I just think both defenses are bad in a dome. These offenses will move the football. It's hard for me to get away totally in this game, but I'm curious. This is where you're really good and stuff, Tambo. Like, How do you play that? That's not completely chalky. Obviously, throwing the quarterbacks in is one way to as well.
Yeah. This is for sure warranted. I mean, everyone will tell you something different. It is what it is. There's going to be people out there that tell you he's over-owned, whatever. When pricing comes out this early, a guy is priced this wrong. There's injuries and things that set up for it. It just is what it is. So you can, again, that's the point of having a portfolio. If you only have one lineup, that's where your decision gets tougher. But one thing I'll say for certain is if he has a ceiling outcome game where he is needed, having him just as a one-off ain't going to work very well for you because somebody got what Title just talked about and what we're going to talk about. This game has so many ways to go, though. That's why I see people, complaining about it or whatever it might be. Like, oh, but Baker's going to get steamed. Oh, but people are coming around to Evans and London's getting steamed. So London and Igbokwe, those guys are for sure getting a little bit of steam. Bijan will always get some love. But there is something I'll say about that, and then I'll go to Hoop, is the Buckies and the Bijans, Title mentioned both. They're not getting nearly enough for what this game and this spot and this environment is. If you're thinking there's going to be all those points, it can most certainly be on the ground. You forget, go back to Thursday night. His name was Javonte Williams. Boom, 2 touchdowns. Like it happens. That can be either of these guys. And you're talking about Bucky Irving and Bijan Robinson. The other thing is they're both 7,100 for Bucky, 8K for Bijan. There is so many running backs between 6 and 6,900 that just fit and make everything work so smooth. And those are those all-star lineups Hoop's talking about earlier. Lastly, and Hoop will go through this, he won a Millie Maker, by the way, playing a game like this where it's going to be so chalky. It's going to be this. There's so many ways, that everyone's going on these guys. Yeah, play them all. Play everybody. But then lastly, I'll say this, the Baker side, much more popular, even if it is only 7-3 or 7-2% ownership on the Falcons side. But if you go Penix Jr., London, Pitts with Bucky Irving, or with Mike Evans or Igbokwe that way or something, plenty of ways to get different there. You can also play secondary stacks if you don't think this is the game. And remember, it's not what you think, it's what your lineup says. If your lineup tells a story that it's starting with Trevor Lawrence and some other dudes, you're clearly saying that is going to outdo Baker and whatever's going on within this game. But you can still get pieces. You can go Bucky and Pitts. You can go Bijan and Cade Otton. You can mix it up. Like if it's not, we've seen plenty of times where people are on a mid-range wide receiver who has a good game, not the game that's required, but then the onesie cheap Cade Otton comes into play instead of him and is used. And Bijan's the guy that does it all on the ground for the Falcons. That hurts all the other plays in this game. So I think there's a ton of ways to get different within this game. And everyone says Kyle Pitts sucks. You're right. He's only had 2 good games ever in his whole life. That's kind of true. And they were both against Tampa Bay. So I don't use those samples, but it is saying something that he has had 2 good games, and they were both against Tampa Bay. Hoop, what do you got?
Well, I mean, the one thing is like the Igbokwe play. Yeah, he's a great play. He's underpriced, but we're talking about probably the highest variance position in NFL. I guess outside of defenses, like wide receivers in really good spots, cheap price tags can easily bust. Is it a lock for him to get 20 today? No, like he can get 5 or 6. Like that's possible. So there's a ton of other guys around him, priced around him. If you want to get off popular play. So like just talking about this game, like what's going to be popular here? Mike Evans, Igbokwe, Drake London. Outside of that, I don't think anyone else is very popular. The running backs, very good running backs in a really good spot. There's so many good running backs that are cheaper. Like Bijan, I think has a chance to go like 8 or 9% owned today. Bucky could be like right around 10%. Like that's pretty low. So like you include them in the game stacks. Quarterbacks are never popular, like we talked about. Yes, are people going to play Baker today? 100% they're going to play Baker, but it's not like he's going to be 20% owned or anything. He's going to be much lower owned than that. Penix, nobody's playing him. Cade Otton, who I think is in a really good spot. There's a lot of tight ends that people are going to play before Cade Otton. Pitts, no one likes playing Pitts because like Tambo said, he's had like 2 good games throughout his career. The rest have been absolute dog shit. Another way to get different. Overstack. Like just go nuclear. Play 6 dudes from this game and hope the final score is 45-38. That's possible. So there's a million different ways to get different when looking at a quote unquote popular game, which I don't think is even all that popular because there's just so many guys on this slate that look like good solid plays. So a lot of different ways to do it. Yeah, I'm playing the stacks of this game, but I one thing that definitely interests me and I want to make sure I have a lot of is Bucky Irving and Bijan. I think Bijan, because of the price at 8K and how many running backs are really, really good and appealing in the 6K range, I think he has a chance to come in lower owned than even others are projecting. And let's just see right here.
We only have him at about 12, I think. So to Nick's point, can you leave him out? I think you can. And I think almost 90% of the field might, because the price
so we're showing 12.5% ownership. We got 12. I'm guessing that he actually comes in closer to 10. And maybe as low as like 8, because you look at these running backs, all right, you sort by salary. Yeah, Bijan's the most expensive, but then look at this group down here that everyone's going to play. Achane, 6,900. Jonathan Taylor, 6,800. People are going to play Jacobs at 67. People are going to love Chase Brown. Kyron Williams at home, touchdown machine. Kamara, James Conner. So many different options come down. Tony Pollard's going to get some ownership. We already talked about Henderson. He's going to get some. So
what's your favorite way to play him? Like if you go Bijan or Bucky, it's like, are you just hoping like they do it all on the ground? You just want one, like a skinny stacks, one on the other side?
You're clearly, probably fading the passing attack in this game. I like pairing them together, Bucky and Bijan, and maybe those two just get it all done, and then you're avoiding the London popularity, the Evans, Ibuka, like hope it's on the ground. Like, I don't know, that I think that's the best way to play it. But like the 8K price tag for Bijan is going to keep his ownership down because there's so many cheap value plays.
But your boy Shaloub, the most handsome man, came in with his pumpkin patch.
Dude, look at that picture. Oh, hang on now. I might have to take back what I said. At a pumpkin patch?
Yeah, he got Bijan and White.
Oh, don't get me started on the pumpkin patches.
Well, you were talking about pumping earlier, so there's your pumpkin right there.
Way different scenario. If you're going into the pumpkin patch, I don't know how much pumping you're doing.
We got the pumpkin narrative, the two pump. Here we go. So
still a good looking dude though.
Title. Anything else you want to add there? If not, I think the next game up is really nice. We got a little bit more sneaky. Maybe it's Miami at the Colts. Still have that high team total. Still in Indy, in where they play at Indy. So like we got a good spot here. I think that you can go to as well. And there's definitely plays in this game that you can use. It's just maybe not as comfortable for some out there.
It's definitely really comfortable to me. Back in a dome. I mean, you go to the Colts side. I mean, the uncomfortable stuff is Danny Pennies. I mean, he's cheap enough. He has the weapons, but man, it's
going to be dimes today, bro.
It's going to be dimes.
It's going to be big dimes.
Danny dollars. I was thinking
dollars. Yes.
So what? 240 yards, 2 touchdowns, 18 points, or
what
are we looking at?
And runs
one in.
50, yeah, Danny dimes. Where's our boy Landa? Our boy Landa was in here earlier talking about. I'm with Landa for sure.
Pennies, the dimes, the dollar. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I have some for sure. JT just, again, he's going to be very chalky. That's like the Chase Brown, all of that stuff. We're like going to Bijan, Bucky, like we're talking about is like somewhat different. JT just has absolutely no one behind him. Like he might be on the field 90+% of snaps today against an awful defense at home. I actually think Danny Dimes is an upgrade from A-Rich for JT because I think he can catch more passes. There's less opportunity for A-Rich to steal one or two and vulture at the goal line. So a lot makes sense for JT. The Downs-Pittman stuff, great leverage off of Jonathan Taylor. And then if you're already playing both of them, you're in the why not play Dimes for really cheap, kind of gets you off JT chalk that way. I really like Josh Downs in the slot. Tyler Warren, I think, is the guy that is going to get completely forgotten almost. And yeah, he was the best tight end in football, college football last year. I think he gets a huge upgrade with Daniel Jones, security blanket in the middle of the field, just a better passer than Richardson. So he's another rookie that I manually bumped. Henderson, Tyler Warren, he does very well in stacks because I like the other side. Like the Tyreek, it's been wild from this offseason, but this feels like a phenomenal spot. They should have time for Tua. Waddle, Tyreek, Achane. Achane will be one of the most popular. How do you leverage off of that? Sure, you can always go Tua, Achane, Tyreek, and do some bit of that way. But if Achane doesn't get there today, it's probably because Waddle and Tyreek do. Throwing Tua in there, that'll be very low owned. You could go JT on the way back to eat chalk there. This is at ownership, probably it's one of my favorite spots for sure because I think both ways you can find a lot of ways to get there. And there's home run hitters. One play, Tyreek, boom, Colts get the ball. JT, one play, boom, Miami gets the ball. Games that you can see a track meet, I can see it on both sides. I'm all in on this game. Well, not all in, but I love this game as much as anything, but you talked me into, I think, a little more dimes than I was getting.
If I see one quarterback in your portfolio other than Tua and Daniel Jones now,
Yeah.
you're done, son. This is how it's going to go. But almost 1,000 watching. Here's the thing. It's Golden Ship It ticket number 4. When we get to 400 likes, we're at 265 now. We'll announce the winner of the Golden Ship It number 4 and get to that one. Before I go to Hoop, I want to say, on this one, Hoop, it's kind of the exact flip side. And I think that's interesting for like tournament builds on what you can do. We know last game was really good, but it was more chalky and everybody wants the passing game. We know this game looks really good and it's sneaky, but it's not sneaky enough. People are talking about it to know that this is another good spot, but everybody wants Achane or Taylor. All the stuff can be true. All of it can be good for good reason. But when you're playing DFS, how many times, I know you out there watching this right now knows this, I had all the right pieces in all the wrong places. Yeah, you land. You're on the right games. You're in the right spots. That's why the stone is so powerful, because I'm looking at it and everything Title's talking about, what Hoop's about to talk about, or we just did talk about, there's different ways you can build it. Our guy Nade's in there giving out one interesting point that he brought up was even something like this. You just flip it a little bit. It's leverage from Achane on the other side. They may end up similar ownership, to be honest, with JT, but it's just a different way to go. But Warren is not going to be nearly owned as much, or if people are stacking pieces and whatnot, sometimes you can just do it that way. So Hoop, I'll kick it to you on this one, but I think there's another, it's another game we've got here that there's a ton of different interesting ways to go.
Yeah, like the running backs are in a great spot. They're going to be owned. I like your point that you make. So I was thinking the same thing, kind of a little bit opposite of last game, where the passing attack is going to be pretty popular, and the running backs, I think, have a chance to go a little overlooked. In this game, the running backs look good. They're going to be popular. Definitely playing both of them, Achane and Jonathan Taylor. I think they're both in phenomenal spots. But then you take a look at the passing attacks, just looking at the wide receivers, all sub 10, maybe sub 8%. Like Tyreek Hill, no one wants anything to do with him. If you played best ball, which I got into the streets late, no one wanted Tyreek. He was going like 3rd, 4th round in some of these drafts. Like, I think he proves a point today. Like, I think he comes out and makes a statement to us. I even had a comment about, everyone's going to realize when he gets into the end zone. I think he scores a touchdown here. I think he's a phenomenal play. You can play Waddle as well. And then on the Colts side, like Downs and Pittman are priced right there with all those popular guys, Ibuka and everyone else. Downs 4,600, Pittman 4,900. Pittman kind of the PPR guy, Downs kind of the big play guy, both under 5K. And then like Daniel Jones, it's, Title's going to learn the lesson. It's not, it's at least dimes, and it could be dollars, and it could be dollars with commas when it comes to Daniel Jones today, because I'm with my boy Landa. I think he has a big game today. A lot of different ways to get there, I think he has the pass catchers to make it happen. Downs, Pittman, Warren, and he can do it on the ground too. So I think Jones is a phenomenal play. 5,100. You can absolutely load up. If you have a Colts passing stack, like you can load up elsewhere, like everywhere else. You can get whatever you want. So really like Daniel Jones. And then I think Tua is the interesting one, should be virtually unowned today. Like the only spot he's going to be played is in those builds that Tyler kind of talked about, where you just run it and you're just getting a little bit of everyone and you just play because that is what happens. So it could be like 1 or 2%. I like all parts of this game, and I like the running backs too, which we talked about. They're going to be popular though, not too popular, but they're going to be owned. I like both of them. So I like, I guess, everything in this game.
Was it last year, week 1, when we said Danny Dimes on this show and he got like 3 points? Am I just imagining that, or I feel like that
new season title? We moved on.
All I remember, I think that because week 2 we all came out here before the Sunday show.
New season, we'd all talked ourselves into that. It was either week 1 or 2, and we all talked ourselves into it. And he might have been like negative fantasy points for a while.
All right, I'm not imagining it.
My final point on this game, and it's going to come up later in other games, and I think that's what's important to remember, is I like the Tua side a little bit the more we talk through it, just because, with Tyreek and Waddle and even Julian Hill, because what's his name? Darren Waller, whatever, like he's out or whatever for this week. But the Warren stuff works on the other side. I'm just saying this game is a little bit more interesting because the fact it can just speed up in a heartbeat, right? Anybody who knows that the Colts, when you play in the Colts stadium, you could have like back in the day, T.Y. Hilton just on a quick play and it's over. Well, Tyreek, that could be very early on. Peace signs gone. Waddle early on, they're moving the needle with that. The running backs are gaining with moving the chains. And then on the other side, you've got guys like Downs, Alec Pierce. How many times we see a long bomb to him? If we start that shootout back and forth, all of a sudden everything to do with the median numbers on this game starts creeping towards the ceiling, and it could be big for everybody. So I think there's a way this game really does pick up, turn into a shootout, and be very valuable in DFS this week. So just think about how to play it. There's tons of who you can plays and picks and plays, but how you would play it is build for that, because if it starts to speed up quickly, there'll be a lot of passing. If the Colts get up early and then all of a sudden they got to come back the other way, they're going to keep trying with HM, but then you've got guys like Hill and Waddle that need to be getting that ball. They got to start moving it that way, and they're one play away. So I think this is a pretty interesting game. Next one, Cardinals at Saints. Title, I'm going to go to you. Kyler, sick this morning, but he will play. It's the first game set of the day. I heard some people talking earlier in the chat about Radler, Olave. Marvin Harrison was the Egbuka last year, who he was super popular week 1 and got like 2 points. That was a good point brought up in the chat earlier as well. It can happen. We talked about McBride in this spot. Shaheed sped some games up last year on the other side that way. So what do you see here with this Cardinals Saints game? I know it's a big survivor pool talking piece, but from DFS, how are you seeing this game play out?
Yeah, I see a lot of ownership to just a couple individual pieces, and that's James Conner, that's Alvin Kamara, both in that low 6K range that you're talking about, that you can still get other studs, but they're not all the way up to like Bijan and the Buckies. That's why spending all the way up at running back is somewhat different, because there's just so many strong plays in this range. Marvin Harrison, Trey McBride, it's more so just like one-off pieces. Like we talked about that Colts game last game. Like you can see on both sides, one play, boom, JT, Tyreek, Waddle, whatever. It's harder for me to see. Like Shaheed can definitely do it, but Spencer Rattler at quarterback lowers my interest in just the Saints, period. And the Cardinals, yeah, Kyler always has upside, but man, his rushing prop's 27.5 yards. If he's not rushing for more than like 40 today, how often is he really going to get there with the 25-point game? I don't see the Saints really pushing too much on the other side. It's more one-off pieces. Again, I think Connor, Kamara is fine, but they are chalky. Trey McBride's a monster. He's definitely my favorite play in this game. I do think Marvin Harrison's the leverage to all of that, though, because I think Connor's really popular. I think McBride is. And there's just so many good receivers. And Marvin Harrison, everyone just has that. I mean, he's slow. He's this. He's that. He still has a 60.5 receiving prop. McBride, 63.5. If the chalk and Connor McBride don't get there, they probably don't score. Marvin Harrison's the most likely to score after that. So probably at ownership, my favorite play on the Cardinals, which sounds gross.
Yeah, Hoop, what do you got on this one? I think Harrison at 55 is probably most interesting. I know McBride's going to fit in a bunch just because it's a tight end spot and you got to use them. But Connor, Kamara, Harrison, McBride, and if I'm playing Harrison, McBride, I kind of like Murray, and then guys on the other side that could speed it up. The chat talked about it. People will continue to hate on Shaheed, and then he continues to drop a 60-yard touchdown on him right quick. It's just the way it seems to go. He's 4,600, same price as some of those other value receivers this week. So what do you got with this one, Cardinals at Saints?
Pretty similar to what Title was saying. Like I think Harrison, Connor's going to get ownership. James Conner, touchdown favorites essentially. McBride, stud tight end's going to get ownership. I want some Harrison for sure. He's in that price point, 5,500, where there's so many good values that he just has to go overlooked. I wanted to see what we have here. We're showing 6%. I ran my teams. We got 10. I'm guessing that it's probably even lower, the 6. Maybe that's accurate. I don't know. I guess it could be there, but I want some of it just because if the other side doesn't work out, like they're going to score points in a dome here. They're projected to score 25. So I do want some Kyler to Marvin Harrison. The Kamara stuff scares me a little bit. Like out of all the cheap value running backs, like his bust potential is just so much higher than all those other guys. Like the Saints are not going to be good this year. And if the game goes south in a hurry, like it might not be good for him. So you can obviously get there. I think he has the most like boom bust at the running back position. Like he can definitely get there with a ton of passes, a ton of receptions, but he could easily just fully bust. We saw it a lot last year. So I'm kind of cautiously playing Kamara. Not going to play a ton, but I'll play a little. But the Marvin Harrison thing, I think stands out to me the most in this game, and one way to kind of get a little bit different.
Can you do a spot check there on Kyler and then James Conner for what we're getting? Because, I mean, you could even do McBride. I'm just curious now that we've got Saber up, we might as well be using it a little bit more.
Yep. What Kyler, 5%. We're showing owned. We only got 3.3, and then Connor, where the hell are those? So we're showing 16%. We got 20, and this is just by projected score. So just running teams just based off projections pretty much. But we got right around the field on Connor.
What about McBride too? While you're there, just double check him. Should be
McBride. We're showing 14%. We got 28. So they really like McBride here, just based on projected score, like I said.
Yeah, BMM is back with us again this year. We appreciate you always supporting the channel. Says Connor and Cards D. That's another thing I like. I talk about this a ton. You could go to it and see, but how about if you go to defense for a second? How much Cardinals D? We're getting 20% Connors. This is an example where you can just click the buttons, or you can use your inputs to get the outputs. How much Cardinals D are we getting?
Yeah, just 3%.
Right?
Just because they're
that up. It's not just about that, but sometimes you forget there's ways to cut in to, or we call it like slice and dice with the ownership on somebody you already have. So sometimes when you're thinking about James Conner, first level of it is okay, he's a great play. Second level, someone will say, oh, but what if he's going to be this high owned? Maybe they go to a Kyler Murray stack and stack it up instead without him. Maybe you stack him with Kyler Murray. Others will say, look, I just want to play him, and it is still Spencer Rattler. Let me just get after him with the defense, and you see it. Not many people are getting to that. That's where you'd have to bump it up, and then you still let Saber take over, but your inputs are your outputs. So I kind of like that call there on adding in the D. Title, the next game up, we got Commanders at home versus the Giants with Russell Wilson. Malik Neighbors crushed it last season pretty much all year. I mean, he's phenomenal. We got the Terry McLaurin holdout ending just recently. On the Washington side, they picked up Debo Samuel Sr., that is, and then obviously Jaden Daniels, just a crusher. 7K, fair price, right? They don't do anything with these crazy prices in week one. So what are you thinking here with this game? Commanders at home versus the Giants.
I don't love it much. Again, like just the Russell Wilson and the Giants side, it's harder for me to see. I want the possibility of games to be sped up a lot for a lot more possessions. I think the Giants are going to try and slow the game down, play action with Russ. Neighbors pretty much the only one on the Giants. I mean, he can go like 12 for 101. I'd be lying if I really say I love Neighbors, though. There's just so many receivers and spend ups on the slate. Like, he's fine. Russell Wilson throwing the ball is a lot worse than many quarterbacks on the slate. And I think part of it is just I don't love the Washington side as much because there's so many ways the team can get there with Jaden Daniels. Who knows what the running back room looks like, so I definitely want to avoid that. But that doesn't mean he can't throw one to Eckler and then throw one to Ertz. Then Debo runs one in. Like, there's so many ways that it makes it tougher for me in fantasy. My favorite is, like, I'm fine Jaden naked, but if I'm playing Jaden, I think my favorite's Ertz. And that's mainly the price tag at the onesie position, who's already going to be low owned. And if he throws one to Ertz and Ertz is 6 for 60 and 1, that could be enough at tight end. Then you just hope Jaden runs one or two. And that's how they get there in that game. But it's it's definitely in the bottom half in terms of games I like on this slate. And with so many 12 games, I assume a lot of people watching are playing like 10 tourney teams or less. I wouldn't get too much of this game. Jaden's fine, though.
Yeah, flip the build. They go to the Giants D with Tracy Jr. if you want to do something like that on the other side. I've heard some Commanders side takes, but this game has a decent total. It's just, it's all how you see it playing out. I think a lot more people would be interested in, the Commanders D or the Giants D and just moving on. How do you see this one? Because, Jaden Daniels, 7K, you could play just him. You could mix him with Debo. You could, put him, Debo, and Neighbors. But Neighbors, even at 7K, it's just too pricey for what people are doing at wide receiver this week. But that doesn't mean it can't happen. Obviously, it's Malik Neighbors. I'm just saying it's the way people are building are without guys like him and his price tag.
I mean, yeah, what you guys said. I mean, I really have nothing else to add to this game. I mean, there's just, I don't know. It's honestly nothing else to add. I mean, I agree with fully what you guys said. So in the sake of saving time,
we can definitely move on. I think that's kind of the key here. Over 1,000 watching now, guys. We got to get to 400 likes to give away the next golden ship it, or else we'll just give it away at the end. That's no problem as well. But we're going to be giving it away either way. Chance to win up to right now $77,700 plus $79,267 plus in cash and prizes. So we're trying to get to 100 grand plus. We'll see how our guy Daniel Wynn does today in the Wildcat. That lineup will be posted later for the community to follow along with. The Golden Core is up on the site, so you can check it out, sort of see where he's at. But that's going to be a fun one. Half of the profit that Daniel Wynn wins today will be going into the grand prize pool. So if he wins the 200K, it'll be 20K for him, 10% to the house for him, and then 50% goes to the grand prize pool. But let's move on. Hoop, I'll stay with you since that was a pass for you. I think we got a really good game coming up next, or at least one that many have interest in. You talked earlier about Tet. We've talked about Trevor Lawrence. There's Travis Hunter, two-way. There's the man, Daniel Wynn. Let's go, baby. Yes, sir, he says. Hoop, what do you got with this one? I think this is interesting. Trevor Lawrence, by the way, 5,300, while his counterpart, Bryce Young, is almost 6K on the other side, 5,700. What's your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, a game I like quite a bit. I mean, mostly on the Jacksonville side, I just think they have the chance to be a much better team this year than they were last year. In the last, couple years, I think their offense should look much better this year. New offensive coordinator, new head coach, Travis Hunter added to the mix. That can't hurt. Strange looked pretty good at tight end. The running back situation up in flux. So I just want to embrace the Trevor Lawrence stuff early on in the season. I think he has a good year offensively. Brian Thomas is an absolute stud. Hunter is going to be, tough to game plan against. And I like this. I like this side, and it's cheap. I mean, it's very cheap. Like Brian Thomas is way too. A lot of guys are cheap, so it's not like saying much. I mean, almost everyone's too cheap this season. But I think Brian Thomas, by the end of the season, is going to end up being like one of the more expensive wide receivers every single week. So I'm just going to get in on this. I'm going to stay on it for the first few weeks of the season until maybe it gets too expensive. But right now it's super cheap. I think it's a really good spot for the Jaguars. We have run backs on the other side. McMillan, Leggett, I think is fine. Chuba Hubbard is a fine option. I don't even mind playing some Bryce Young. I mean, Bryce Young to McMillan, Bryce Young should be virtually unowned. I'm just in on this one all around, but definitely strongly prefer the Jacksonville passing attack in this game. I think they're in a really good spot.
What do you think, title? McMillian?
Oh, I mean, yeah.
What's going on this one?
Yeah, I mean, they traded away Adam Thielen. They lost Jalen Coker, which was definitely, in practice after they traded Thielen, that was a downgrade to this offense a bit, but it definitely boosts Leggett. I'm not as high on this game as I think the field is, and part of that has to do with the running back room on both sides. Like, I'm just not – who knows? Is it Tootin? Is it Tank? Is it ETN? Like, I definitely don't want to mess with that alone. And then the Carolina side, yeah, I think it is Hubbard, but I think there's – 4-point dogs on the road. I think there's a lot better running back spots there. Rico will get mixed in. So I'm at the passing game, and I do like Tet. I think he's a very strong play, but he'll come with ownership. I don't know how much Bryce Young I want to embrace, because when I'm playing Bryce Young, I think it's hard to see me just single sex. Him, Tet, and Bryce is on the winner. I'm not sure there's enough rushing upside there. So then you'd play Leggett. I think Jatavius, he's fine as a very cheap tight end if it gets you on different builds. I just don't love when I get to the stacking stuff. Travis Hunter, Brian Thomas have big play upside. I don't see as much Carolina one play and they just get there. Travis Hunter, I've been going back and forth. Brian Thomas is a clear smash. Trevor Lawrence is already one of the chalkiest quarterbacks on the slate. Has rushing upside. I don't love it compared to these other spots. This Bengals game that we're talking, I like the Falcons game more. I like the Indy game more. So I'm indifferent to it, but I want to hear y'all's take on Travis Hunter because, again, very hard to project in the props market. He's going to be wide receiver too, though. Like they've already said, he's going to be receiver over corner. He has big play upside. He's leverage off of some Brian Thomas ownership. And then if you are playing Trevor Lawrence, he's the low-owned piece that you can get that absolutely can home run hunt. So I think I want to be bumping these receivers, but then I come back to it. It's just, man, the floor is so low in terms of just how much you need at a loaded receiver, where then I get kind of gun shy. So I think I'm more just one-offs. Brian Thomas, Tet is my favorite ways to go about it.
I'm pretty sure NFL dunks on MLB DFS, and they'll give him both points. If he gets the INT, it's coming in. And they said overnight that he's going to play both. So what happens is this happens. He gets the early INT. They're definitely getting him a touchdown. They're definitely forcing it because then you got to get both, show what he is. That's why we drafted him like this. So we'll see how it shakes out. But what you said is so true, but also exactly what week one is all about. His floor is nothing. His floor is a horrible game of like 4 or 5 points. It just doesn't go his way. Brian Thomas Jr., maybe Bigsby runs in a couple, or ET, you'll never guess in that running back room. But you said it. It could be very low floor, but the ceiling has to be there some. This man is in commercials. You got Trevor Lawrence, Travis Hunter, Trevor Hunter, Travis Lawrence. You can mix these names up. You can do whatever you want. I think Brian Thomas is a good price for DFS. I think he's going to be held. I know he's getting ownership for sure. I like the chat said, move off him for somebody else. You can just play him with other people. You can play T-Law, Thomas, and Diami Brown. You can skip the Hunter and go for the home run play with him. Maybe he comes in and does something. But on the other, if you're looking to play Tet, and many are, and the props are there, and he's showing up pretty optimal and all that stuff, I don't think he needs to be forced with Bryce. You talked about Bryce Young. How much can you embrace? If you play that stack, go ahead, and I like it too. But I also don't think you have to play him that way. And I would just do, if Trevor Lawrence is getting steamed up, what about Trevor Lawrence, Brian Thomas, Diami Brown with Tet on the run back? Everyone will be bitching tomorrow morning that the chalk all got there, and Trevor Lawrence will be whatever he was. Hunter will have almost nothing on him. Like, it was a way to play Tet differently. So it's always the same thing every single year, but you can go to different guys within this game. Leggett was being talked about in the Discord. Our man Ham was talking about him as well. Chuba Hubbard, the Canadian, by the way. What about playing Hubbard with Brian Thomas Jr.? Brian Thomas Jr. could have 25 points and Lawrence busts versus the other quarterbacks around him or on the slate, and you could have Chuba Hubbard with Brian Thomas and have this game covered. So, again, it's not who you play, it's how you play. I'm trying to teach you how to play. This is just my thoughts on it, but I think there's some good ways to go, and you don't have to be on either quarterback, and you can just run secondaries, and you don't have to run it back if you are doing a stack. You could play Lawrence, Hunter, Thomas, not force Ted in just because you think that's the play. You can do a ton of different stuff within this game. Hoop, anything else to add on this one? If not, Bengals at the Browns, I think is another one people want to hear a lot about here.
Yeah, people are going to like that one. Just real quick, we're showing Hunter 5%. The teams I ran 6, so kind of just getting right with the field. But, for me personally, it depends on how many teams you have, but I would want some exposure to Hunter today. Like, who knows? Like, I mean, the dude's upside is massive. So it's my take. Bengals, Browns, very popular game, I would say. Like, people are liking both sides of this all around. I guess the main reason is two teams are just going to chuck the ball for the most part. I mean, that's what you get with the Bengals. You know what you're getting with the Bengals, fast pace and just throw it. And then on the Brown side, like, I don't think they're going to be able to run it just because, I mean, look at their running backs. They're going to pass it as well. And when Flacco's been there, he's been productive. Bengals side is easy. Like, Jamar Chase is going to be popular. T. Higgins is going to be popular. Chase Brown is going to be popular. All three of them are phenomenal plays. Joe Burrow is going to get ownership as well. But it's a very tough situation to say, yeah, I just want to fade this. Like, some of these guys are getting there today on the Bengals side. You have to imagine. And it's just a matter of, is it enough to absolutely nuke and break the slate? You want exposure to, especially if you're building a bunch of teams. You want exposure to all these guys. I really like T. Higgins, though, because he's, if people are going to the Bengals, their first thing, if they're going to Bengals passing, it's going to be Jamar Chase. And T. Higgins is going to get some ownership, but probably going to be less than Jamar Chase. And T. Higgins just has massive upside. So he stands out to me as a really good option. On the Brown side, Flacco is cheap. Jerry Jeudy, Njoku is going to be a popular tight end play, but again, not popular to the point where you have to avoid it. We have a bunch of other good tight end options. So I think he's solid. Jerry Jeudy, Cedric Tillman, all strong options here. And, the Bengals passing defense has been bad, and they didn't really improve it at all. So I think this is a game you just load up. I mean, overstacks in play here. So many options on both sides. I kind of laid out the reason for T. Higgins on the Bengals side. On the Brown side, I like Jeudy because I think, a lot of people, if they're going to the Brown side, it's going to be Njoku first. It's definitely going to be Njoku first because he projects very well. And anywhere you go, he projects well. I think Jeudy, again, another wide receiver in that price range that not going to get overlooked, but there's just so many options right there in the upper 4s and lower 5s that there's no way he can be over the top popular. So Jeudy stands out to me. So Jeudy and T. Higgins are the guys that I'm really looking at here.
Yeah, I like this spot too. And I know, I actually don't disagree with this, but that's why you have a portfolio. Richard, we appreciate you always out here supporting us. Thank you. Says, it could be a bust early in the season, division game, all that.
I will say just on that point, because I don't want to forget this, like the Bengals have started slow for the last couple seasons, like really, really slow. So I'm not going to fade it, but if you're only building a couple teams, like if you're building 3 teams, like you could definitely make the case to not be on this one. The Bengals historically have started very slow in the season.
Yeah, the reason I like this spot, and I do like this spot regardless of that stuff, is just because of the Njoku and the Chase Brown stuff. Like, I think that's a very popular secondary stack, and I get it. That makes sense as well. But, Flacco at 4,900, even if Judy gets a little steam, there's Tillman. You got Njoku. That's a way to stack up the full side. The other way back, you've got Burrow, probably still sub 10%. Chase Brown, popular, sure. Jamar Chase, popular, sure. But you mentioned the Higgins factor. So this is what I'm talking about. People, Njoku, I can't believe people played that loser $4,700 chalk tight end. Well, if you play him with Flacco, Judy, and T. Higgins on the other side, how is that bad? You played the chalk tight end, but you played him in a way that would make sense, that would speed up the game, that would get it going back and forth. And I do like the overstacks more here. I should say two ways. I like going like all the way in, or like just that Chase Brown, something to make it work, because then you're going to say it's going to be lower on the ground. I think another way to play Chase Brown different is very similar to the Connors Cardinals earlier. You can go with the Brown Bengals, the double C's, now the double B's. If you go the Brown Bengals against that, that's a way to go against. And I love Flacco in the spot this week at 4,900. And I get some people don't, but I'm just saying, if you want to go against Njoku and you want to go against Flacco and whatever else there might be, and you're like, but also Chase Brown is popular, why not play Chase Brown with the Bengals? I think anyone that gets close to $3,600 on D is moving up to either Washington at 37 or the Broncos, who are coming up next at 38. Title, any further thoughts on that?
Giddy up. I love this game. Both sides. I mean, Flacco's the DFS monster. Is like Jameis. Like, I'm not saying I think actually Flacco is definitely a good real life quarterback. He showed that. He's still playing at whatever age he is, but he just gets the ball to his guys like Judy, the Njoku's. Njoku's props 48.5 yards. That's higher than Travis Hunter's at the end of the day. You get to play him at a tight end position. Cedric Tillman. I mean, we saw games last year where he absolutely went off. No one's going to play him. He's cheap. The other side, yeah. I mean, talk about games that can get flip the script in one play. Jamar Chase, 70 yards, boom. T. Higgins, 70 yards. Chase Brown, like Judy for a long one, etc. So one of my favorite games for sure. Plenty of ways to go about playing it.
And now I got to disagree with my man Richard, because it could come true because he is cheap and he's 4,700. The thing is, there's like 5 real tight ends on this slate that could just smash him. And then there's guys below him as well. So I actually would rather see a ceiling outcome from him than just have sort of a few catches make it up. In cash games, smaller field stuff, the high dollar Qs that I'll play in, stuff like that. Sure, I can see where you run like a Chase Brown, Njoku, just hope to pick up some points that way. But in something like the Millie Maker, there's like at least, in my mind, Kittle. Who do we talk about? Kittle, McBride. Who am I forgetting? There's already one more. Who was it? Bowers. Yeah, just those 3 alone. And then you get into the Tyler Warrens, the Kyle Pitts, the Cade Ottens, all these guys. We're talking ceilings. That's what we're going to say. So that's where that becomes a problem, and why I like the overstack a lot better, so that when people complain about Njoku getting there, it's like, yeah, but you had to have him with Tillman and Flacco and Higgins. That's the difference maker and what I'm looking for. So giddy up. My man Title said, let's giddy up. We're almost to those 400 likes. You guys can do us a favor. It's the thumbs up button. Takes 2 seconds. Helps us out. If you're not subscribed to the channel, you like free shows, that's what we've got for you here. So make sure you're subscribed as well. Broncos at home versus the Titans. Title. What do we got with this one?
Not much. I don't love the stacks on either side. Another pretty popular survivor pick. I mean, a rookie quarterback heading into Denver is a tough way to make your debut. Do have hopes for Cam Ward in the future, though. It's Tony Pollard with no Tajee Spears. I think he's not going to get much ownership. Obviously, the matchup isn't great, but I mean, opportunity, workhorse. He should have almost all the touches, and he can catch passes out of the backfield. And you think there's got to be a decent amount of dump-off opportunity if the Broncos are getting pressure and for his rookie quarterback. Otherwise, it's Calvin Ridley. He had a lot of hype in camp. Again, he's not really going to be played at all, but a guy that can get there with 1 or 2 catches, big play upside. Then Courtland Sutton. Like, I'm not playing really Bo Nix too much. I don't love either quarterbacks are stacking in this game or getting too much of it, but the Suttons of the world who can go 2 touchdowns and be on the optimal where you don't need Bo Nix, the Ridley, the Pollard, is clearly those 3. If I have none of them on my team, I'm fine. If I had a skinny stack or just one of them, I'm fine. It's really those 3 I'm focused on, though.
Yeah, Hoop, I'm going to go quick, and then I'll let you finish it up if you have anything else to add. But I think it's like, for me, I like Courtland Sutton. I like the 6K price tag. I like all the value dudes that are at 46, 52, et cetera. When you can play Sutton at 6, maybe that gets you there. We're seeing like 10% on him right now. I know Ridley's similar. The other side at 5K, he's less than someone like Tet that we were looking at. He's just a little bit more than Ibuka earlier. But I like the guy that hurt my feelings last year, Bo Nix. And if I'm playing them, I can play Bo Nix, Sutton, and Mims. Don't even need to run it back. I can play those 3 with the Broncos D and get away with it and and just onslaught it with 4 of them. Or you could try and fit in your Ridleys, Lockett's, whoever you want from the other side. I see you got Ridley up there, but my point would be the Broncos side looks good. Big favorites at home. I think there's a spot here where they just come out and crush them, and it's through those guys. Maybe even RJ Harvey down late. I know people want to talk about J.K. Dobbins. As a Ravens fan, I know what we get there, but I actually think RJ Harvey would be the guy to have a little bit more interest. The problem is his price is $5,800, so it's tricky. But Hoop, what do you got with this one?
I mean, the problem with the running backs, it's like, man, you need a big score. I mean, you're gonna need a big score, I feel, and it's like I don't know like what that situation looks like, so I'm probably out on it. I get it though for deep field tournament stuff. Tennessee stuff, just it's just one-off things like Pollard, Ridley, Chig. I'm fine with those 3. I'm not going to go overboard on any of them. It's a really bad spot to open the season, like Title said. Rookie quarterback on the road in Denver. Like Denver's a tough spot to play with elevation and all that, so not going to go crazy there. But I really, really like the Bo Nix to Cortland Sutton stuff. Last year they were willing, we talked about it a couple years ago when Dak made us all that money, like Dallas just continuing to throw the ball, even if they were up, like they never gave up, continued to try to score. So we kind of saw with Denver last year, like they would run up the score, continue to pass, where you think they would just grind out the clock. And that's very valuable if you can get like a couple extra drives at the end of the game, if they are up a bunch and they're continuing to pass. So I really like Bo Nix to Sutton. Like Sutton should be relatively low owned. I think he's a phenomenal play. We're showing 5% on Nix. We only got 2 teams in our 150 with Nix, and he's going to be definitely held in check. Sutton, we're showing 10% owned. We only got 6 when we ran the team, so I'm loving that combination. You can throw in some Mims as well, and maybe a little Evan Ingram. I think it's a really good spot to attack today.
Yeah, I like that too. So one other thing, just somebody was saying earlier too, I was reading it online about the next game coming up. So we're going to pivot as well and segue to it. We just crossed 400. So we will be giving away the Golden SHIPIT number 4 ticket coming up. But Schefter just posted out that CMC good to go, will play, and sources say he's good to go. So makes this pretty interesting. We'll hold it just because it just hit 400. So I'm going to stay with this game with you, Hoop. We'll get through this one, then we'll give it away with just 2 more games left. 49ers at the Seahawks. We've got the Christian McCaffrey one was the biggest one. We just got that through, but there is definitely other options in this game to talk about. And, it looks like a pretty low owned game. And even the McCaffrey stuff was being kept in check by the news.
Yeah, I mean, the McCaffrey thing is definitely the main talking point in this game. I mean, when we did the cash show on Friday, it looked like it was just going to be McCaffrey and everyone was going to be on a massive ownership. Well, the news kind of broke that he missed practice on Friday, and then there was some uncertainty, and then everyone remembers what happened last year where thought he was going to play, and then it was just a late inactive, and everyone scrambled. So everyone's like, all right, it's going to happen again this year. Like, maybe he's just healthy and he's going to play all the downs. And now he went from a 20% owned play to probably like a 10% owned play. I'm sticking with the McCaffrey stuff. I mean, the dude is absolute stud. If he is 90%, he could absolutely dust the running back position today. So I want to be in on him. I like the pass catchers though here too, like Pearsall, Kittle, even Juwan Jennings. I mean, I know there is, didn't do much in the preseason, but 4,900. So if I'm playing all the pass catchers, I'm playing McCaffrey. I just by default have to be on the quarterback. So I will be playing Brock Purdy as well. Seahawks side, much more difficult. I don't know like how much Kenneth Walker I'll have. I'm curious to see what you guys think about him. I do want to be on some JSN. I mean, I can't imagine many people going to him I mean, the price is nice, but there's so many guys there. Let's see, we're showing 12%, got 10. I don't know. I don't think he's going to be that highly owned. I think he's going to be in the single digits, but I don't know. I'm kind of confused with the Seattle situation. I feel pretty good with the San Fran guys. I'm going to play all of them, but Seattle, I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. So curious to see what you guys have to say.
What are we getting for CMC? I know what his ownership's at currently. Obviously, it'll be updated with everything, with the news and whatnot at SHIPIT Nation. But just to note, I know what the ownership is. We're getting about 25%. Looks like.
Yeah, we're getting 26, and we're showing 13. I think this is probably maybe lower. I don't know. Yeah, let's see what you guys think. But yeah, we're still getting like 25.
I thought it was interesting you brought him up too. What are we getting for exposure to Walker? Because that's the spot that I like the Kittle Walker mini stack today. Just putting that little secondary together. I think that's another interesting.
We got 10.
10%.
We're showing 10%, so we got right with the field essentially.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have a little – we'll see. I think I'll get a little more than that. I think this is an interesting spot, and it kind of – even if there is confusion. Plus, there's late swap ability. Like, if you have Kenneth Walker in your flex, you can change him for $100 less to Kittle if something pops up or if there was another CMC update. Obviously, it doesn't look like that now, but that was kind of what I was thinking of originally with some of my higher builds. If you leave 5,900, you wouldn't be able to get to CMC unless you had a secondary piece, but you could have went from Walker – opposite of that side to Kittle if the news was in limbo, but it looks like we got it. Title, what's your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, this game's definitely confused me. What to do with CMC is one of the biggest talking points. I was hardly getting any. I was really scared. I keep seeing so many in chat so scared with what Hoop was saying. I bumped him up manually a decent bit. I'm going to be overweight just because I thought he was such a good play coming in. They didn't upgrade, or they didn't call someone up from the practice squad at running back. Like, they were riding with Brian Robinson, who doesn't even know the full playbook. Garindo's, he's hurt. Like, they just don't have anyone to spell him, it looks like, as much. So it's hard to not see him getting, I don't know, I don't want to throw it like a random number, but 70% of the work at least. And if that's the case, he's just a PPR, full-point PPR monster for DFS. Can catch passes, complete workhorse. It only takes him one play. It's week one. Like, he hasn't been hit around. He's not obviously his calf sore and all that, but it's not like midway through the season. I'm embracing it. I'm going against what my process and the sims and everything that I was running. I was hardly getting any, but I think that ownership definitely comes down maybe 10% on a slate where salary really doesn't matter. Getting one of the best running backs in football that was going to be double 2.5 times that ownership just earlier in the week. Yeah, I'm going to place I'm going to be overweight on CMC. I manually bumped him. Part of the reason is just I struggle with the rest of this game and the fact, I'm more skinny stacking. CMC, JSN, just CMC. I think Kittle's fine, but the Ricky Pearsall's, the Juwan Jennings, the Juwan situation, he just has hardly practiced. He wanted the new contract. I wasn't really worried about his calf or anything. Good defenses on both sides as well. So, I don't see this game when we compare those Bengals game, that Miami game, that one play that can change it all. I think these defenses try and keep it in front of them, and it's a little lower scoring that way. So, more skinny stacks, one-offs. I'm going to be playing CMC, just the I know football in me and going against what my numbers did.
Yeah, that's the case. And somebody said, obviously, you're going to get an ownership shakeup now. I was going the Warren Buffett route this morning, first thing, thinking about be greedy when others are fearful. And that's what I was thinking. If he's going to be held in check like that, I love it. We just take a shot on it. There was definitely ways with late swap to pivot around things later. It wasn't going to be like I had all my lineups with 8 guys in the morning and just CMC. Even then, there was options with this guy in the next game with Josh Jacobs. But I think that was kind of my thoughts. I will still have some Brock Purdy stacks. I like Kenneth Walker. I like JSN. I want to use them as the run backs, and I just go Purdy. I'll go to Jennings. He's 4,900. Ricky Pearsall, 4,500, and Kittle, 58. You put Purdy with 2 of those guys and pick your poison on the other side. I think that's an interesting way to shake it up as well. All right, we're going to announce it. We waited long enough. Keep smashing that like. Let's try and get to 500 likes, almost 1,100 people watching. We appreciate all of you. We're excited that football is back. We're excited to be able to offer over 79,000 currently cash and prizes to Ship It Nation members. So if you haven't joined the nation yet, go to shipitnation.com/join. You'll see all of our packages now, all options available with our partner over at Sabersim, which many know and respect across this game. So you can do that. The winner of the number 4 Golden Ship It. This is the early bird annual winner. The winner is Randy Chidley. So Randy, we're going to send you out an email. You'll get it. You are a bonus ticket winner. There's no game to play on. We had 5 to start week 1. The next 15 weeks, because this goes for 16 weeks before the finals start in week 17, the next 16 weeks, there will be 3 weekly battles for the remaining tickets. And the first battle starts today. So if you check your email, it's from info@shipitnation.com. You might have won a ballot entry into game number 3 this week, which will be the 5th Golden Ship It, where you will play off in a winner-take-all to get Golden Ship at number 5. We'll have that winner announced tomorrow on our Monday show at 2 p.m. Eastern. The same crew you see here. We'll be back to break it all down for, I think, Chicago and Minnie tomorrow that we've got. So congrats to Randy Chidley. You're in there. You got an automatic guarantee to the finals, which starts week 17, where the final 50 will play off. There is a min cash in play, and then you will go to the final 10 for the first week of the playoffs. We'll skip the boring week 18 where it's just mayhem and variance and who knows what, and you'll be playing for currently a $20,000 plus cash prize for first, $10,000 plus for second, $5,000 plus for third, and it goes down from there. Still some really good prizes. So, Hoopster, back to you, man. We got your team, the Lions, going into Green Bay to face off against Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs, a crazy wide receiver, whatever they're going to do there. And then Tucker Kraft is there as well. So what do you got with this one? You said you had some takes, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Congrats to Randy on winning the ticket. Appreciate the support. I don't know. I just don't think it's a good spot for the Lions. I think the Packers win this game. I guess it's not really relative to DFS, but I just, I agree. And I know we got a lot of Packers fans in here, but I think they get the job done and beat my Lions today. In regards to DFS, kind of a tough game for DFS. We talked about it with the Packers passing attack. So many guys. Obviously, we know Golden's going to be their main dude, but they still are willing to mix in so many guys. Josh Jacobs is there. I don't love him. I like other guys there. My favorite play on the Packers side is Tucker Kraft, cheap tight end, 4K. I think the guy's a stud, but I don't really like Jordan Love all that much either. So I don't know. I'm not thrilled with the Packers side. Outside of Kraft, I mean, I will play some Jacobs, probably be underweight on him, but Kraft is definitely my favorite option for the Packers. What's the word on Jaden Reed? Is he out, or he doesn't seem likely to play? Is that correct?
We still haven't. We still haven't got anything. I'd kind of be surprised. I mean, they were saying in August he came back, but it hurt him to run practice a little bit, and it hurt him when he was running routes, his ankle. So I guess
Romeo Dubs at 4,300 could be a pretty solid play. I mean, I'd definitely prefer him if Reed were to be out, but I don't know. Either way, it's a tough situation to get a read on. Lions side,
get a read on. Oh, but also Ricky Pearsall, Jawan Jennings, swappability. There's so many cheap options. You can go Romeo and he's in, and you just want to flop to Ricky. There's enough cheapies that way where you can put it in before noon. But don't forget, we pretty much have 2 locks. We do have 2 locks on this slate. So yeah.
I was reading about it somewhere about that injury, and it doesn't sound too good for Reed. It could be worse than we would think, other guys that have had it and whatnot. But by the way, we just announced the Golden SHIPIT winner, and Matthew Golden, 4,900, squeezed between Egbuka and Tet. He's right there, and literally nobody wants him. And there's injuries that would make sense. They have a 26-point team total, almost at home favorites. You talked about maybe the Lions can put up some points on them. Who's going to score those 26 points, or are they just going to be that horrible? I don't know. But my point would be, I think he's pretty interesting at 4,900, not getting anywhere near the ownership of those other 2 guys that we talked about earlier. So people that were asking about it earlier, waiting around, trying to hear it, we'll see. But I actually think Golden is fine today, and you could play some stacks, whatever. But JMO, by the way, this is another game where the game could speed up. JMO got a huge contract last night. That's pretty interesting as well. I think it was week 1 last year when he had the big game right out of the gate. So maybe we see that again. Jahmyr Gibbs, 7,700. Was he the best one of the best running backs in the league last year? Nobody wants him though, right? 7,700, just too much. Doesn't fit that price tag going against a Packers D that there's no way you can do it. So I don't know. I think this is a really good spot for a few different guys. I don't think you have to go crazy with game stacks and overstacks. Maybe you do, and that's what ends up shipping it. I don't know. But for me, I still like some of these secondary. I like a Gibbs Kraft or a Gibbs Golden. I like a Jacobs with JMO and see how that goes. I do think there's some other ways to play this title. What do you got before we get to this last game? I'll let you finish out this one.
I interrupted Hoop. Hoop, finish your thoughts. I know you were going to finish a couple things.
Yeah, just mostly the same stuff that Tambo said. I mean, you're looking at Jahmyr Gibbs, no ownership. He can nuke in any sort of situation game script. Amon-Ra St. Brown, very low ownership. He can go out and he doesn't even need a touchdown to be the guy. He can go out and get you 10 for 120. Jameson Williams can absolutely nuke a slate. The only one I don't love is Laporta. I think just a little bit too boomer bust with the touchdowns, but Gibbs, Amon-Ra, and Jamison Williams at like no ownership, yeah, I'm going to be in on some of that stuff for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really have much more to add. Jacobs and Kraft are my two favorite plays. You can easily do the skinny, like JMO gets there on the Detroit side, big plays. Green Bay tries to pound the football. The team's so good. I'm not a believer in Love, and I don't know how much LaFleur and the Packers just want to drop back 40 times, like 35 plus times this year if they don't have to. Establish the run, play action off of that. That's where Love's best. So I don't like the Love side. Kraft is my favorite pass catcher on the Packers, mainly the price with the onesie position at tight end. He has big boy upside there. So Jacobs, Kraft, my favorite. J-Mo, Amon-Ra, Gibbs on the other side. Most of my teams, if I was playing them, would only have one of the three, but all of them have slate breaker upside at very, very fair ownership. This is one of those sneaky games that you could see it be a track meet. Like Love can throw the ball downfield. He has guys to do it. Clearly the Lions have the guys where one play, two plays, get them all the way down. So I won't be playing the quarterbacks as much. But man, those skill position players on both sides, they clearly have slate breaking upside. And they're going to be low owned that you can put chalk around it.
Yeah, and I know like the chat worries about how they spread it out and stuff, but I think like how can you say the other teams might not? Like we actually have potential injury stuff here that's likely versus the other spots. There's tons of different options. Like Hunter Renfrow could come in today and end up with like 6 for 60 over on that squad, and it just happens. Maybe still not needed. I'm not saying that. I'm saying more of like it's not Leggett could get the Jatavian Sanders. Like what? It doesn't have to be Ted. It could be Chuba Hubbard on the ground. It could be Bryce Young running it and stealing from throws. It's like there's all kinds of opportunities. And in Tampa, it's very similar as well. So that's what I like the one that was brought up that just said, why is, Egbuka and Tet 20%? I don't know what they actually come in at, but it feels right versus Golden's like nothing at 4,900. I think that's still interesting.
Well, you got to embrace some of the uncertainty. Like those guys have way less competition for potential targets. Matthew Golden is perceived that he's going to have a lot of competition for targets. What if he's just the guy? Like who knows? There's
which
uncertainty.
He very well might be.
And if he wasn't, if we knew he was the guy, he would be owned right there with those other guys. He'd have the same ownership as Egbuka and McMillan. Because there's little uncertainty, he's going unowned. You have to embrace the uncertainty. Like that's how you can get these lower owned plays. What
if Jahan Dotson outscores AJ Brown in an island game to start the season? I mean, like stuff happens. So it's not that crazy, and that's what we're trying to make you realize. I also think there's a lot of thought process when people get into the last game in a second anyway. So again, if you're just joining us or you're getting here late and you're catching up, hit the like. It does still help us out. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Got a lot of free shows this year coming up. Be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. Our guys Nades and Ham have a Sunday Night Football show that's going to be coming out shortly. But just to note it, like if you're building your lineup, I know a lot of people play single entry, 3-max, they hand build, they're trying to figure it out. What I'm saying is you can build your lineup for what you like. And then if you happen to land in that area, maybe Golden makes sense. Maybe he's the separator in your lineup. I think a lot of people then go rework their lineup because they heard somebody else say, well, you got to play Tet or you got to play Egbuka. These guys are rock solid. We mentioned that stuff, but that's what we're trying to show you. When you land in these positions, maybe you start to think of that stuff, and then it ends up being a game changer for you, and you do ship it, and then you do end up coming over. Maybe you're free watching the YouTube now. You want to come be a member. Like you can always work on your game just by watching these shows, and that's the things we're trying to point out here. Hoop, final game, Texans at the Rams. Not sure your thoughts on this one, but it's the last game of the slate with this Green Bay Packers and Detroit game. It's got, a couple different options in it. We got some stuff in Houston. We got Kyron Williams on the Rams side. Puka, who was amazing last year, now set up there with the Stafford stuff and Devontae Adams all together. So what's your thoughts on this one, Texans at the Rams?
To me, this game's all about low-owned, high upside wide receivers. Nico Collins should be overlooked today. He can absolutely nuke a slate. Puka should go a little overlooked, and it's because of the price tag. So many cheap options. Nico Collins, 7,400. Puka, 7,600. Do people want to spend at wide receiver? If they are spending, they're probably going all the way up to Jamar Chase. They could absolutely nuke this slate. Love both guys. And then Devontae Adams at 6,100. I am definitely playing Devontae Adams at 6,100. Is he getting a little older? Yeah, but I think things could go very well for Adams this year. Like the combination with Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford is the perfect quarterback for a guy like Devontae Adams, and I want to be in on him. Very low owned. Let's just pull this up real fast just to see. We are showing 7%. I got none when I ran these teams, so I'm going to make sure to be in on Devontae as well. But all three of those guys, I think, strong, low-owned options.
Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt. We're going to go back to him for 2 seconds title before the final game. I don't know what people expected fully, but just to note it so that it's here. Chris Rodriguez Jr., healthy and active for week 1. So going back to that Washington spot, if you want a way to fit some of these higher-priced wide receivers or get different, $4,000.
Yeah, still have like Eckler and another dude, though, too, right? It's not.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Just noting it, I think there's definite hype. You can see the tweet just went out and there's already
people are looking for any piece of news to get like super excited about, like Chris Rodriguez being out. Like, is that something that changes the slate? Fuck no, it doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know if it does either, but I think what people are looking for is a way to spend. And now what the challenge was, I was just about to go into my 2 cents before flipping to title just on this game, is I think Nico, Puka, Devontae, all those guys are solid. But the challenge is what you said, is once you're paying up at that receiver position, especially if you want a couple of them, you really need to have value elsewhere. And most of the value is at wide receiver this week, just the way it is. So if you want a cheaper running back, I'm thinking he's going to pop up. Also, title, more news. You can take both these pieces. Darnell Mooney, inactive. Is inactive today. Yeah, we talked about
he was hurt. Yeah, I mean, that only helps Drake London, the Pitts, Ray a little bit. But again, like, I don't know. Like, what does Ray need to get there today? Like, is like 3 catches, 50 yards, and a touchdown?
Well, that's what I'm saying. But with the pricing, you're going to need big boy scores all around, I think, with this pricing. So it's like, to me, anyone I'm playing today, like, and this is just me. That's why I didn't want to get too excited about the Rodriguez thing. A lot of people are like, I need everyone to get me like 18 to 20 minimum, right? Like, that's like, you got to have, you don't want to play a guy that you think can only get you 12 today. Like at what, no matter what the price is.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to play a guy that you think can only get you 12. So that's the problem, I think, with some of these cheap guys.
I agree. And yeah, I mean, the C-Rod stuff, like, by no means am I running to play Merritt or an Eckler. If I did, I'd pick Eckler. Maybe that helps Jade Daniels a little bit. Like, C-Rod, a lot were thought to be like more of their goal line back. Maybe a little more rushing upside there. These fringe plays and stuff. Like, that's more – there was so much talk around the best ball streets after Brian got traded. The ADP flew, like, stuff in that. But as far as the last game for me, I think Hoop said it perfect. It's going to be low-owned. Talking the Rams-Texans game. Like, if I played the low-owned pieces, I want them to have that 25-plus point upside. Nico Collins, Devontae Adams, Puka, etc. But I'm just not really getting there as much because, like, I prefer the Miami game environments, the Bengals, the Falcons, just stuff like that. You can't play everyone. So that's how I see it.
Agreed. I think, a couple options, like I said, Kyren Williams for sure. Nico on the other side. It's how you mix them up and play them, but, nothing too crazy on the stacks or whatnot. I also think Rams D are another one that fall in that sort of middle tier zone that not a lot of people are talking about. At least, they're either going up to the Broncos or something there. They're dropping down. So I think the Rams would be interesting if you want to play them with Kyren. I also think there's a lot of, I think there's an afternoon. What was I? What did I see it the other day? I think it's actually my 2v2 swapperoo. It's not that it's popular, but I think that Kyren Williams and Rams D can be swapped for Broncos, and maybe it was Kenneth Walker. There's something there that you can swap around that it's the two of them for each other. So just look for late swaps in week 1. If you're dead on some of that stuff early with those guys that we talked about, or those game stacks or whatever it might be that can all go wrong, there is ways to get to these options in the afternoon. Title, any final thoughts from you before we get out of here?
Enjoy it. Next thing you know, it'll be 9, 10, 11, 12. This is the best time of the year. Prize pools, you absolutely cannot beat it. Don't forget, late swap is a thing. Don't forget, FanDuel is a thing with big prizes over there, running a fun $5. Yeah, favorite days of the year. Enjoy it. Don't take it for granted. Let's win some money.
Hoop, final thoughts from you before we get out of here?
Yeah, excited to be back, but yeah, like Title said, it goes super, super fast, and we'll get to the halfway point, and we'll be like, man, how did we already get here? So yeah, sit back, enjoy it. Like our guy D-Gen always said, don't take these days for granted, and that is the honest to God truth. Also, as I talked about in the opening, Save some pumps, boys. You don't want to blow that load week 1 of the NFL season. It's a grind. You don't want to be a 1 or 2 pump chump. You want to be able to be pumping at week 17, 18 into the playoffs. So take it easy. All these lineups are going to look really, really nice when you build them today because pricing is so soft. Pump the brakes a little bit. Keep that bankroll healthy, and we'll keep pumping all season long. How about that?
I'm going to leave it at that. I love a good outro from Hoopster. Keep pumping all season long. That's going to do it for this one, guys. Appreciate you so much for watching. Make sure to hit the like, subscribe on the way out. We'll be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern to break down the Monday Night Football game. We've got the Sunday Night Football show. Will come out later with our guy Ham and Nades, and I'll be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern with the Takedown Breakdown, talking all the main slate stuff for week 1 and how it happened. So appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. For Hoop, for Title, for myself, ToeTagginTambo, let's ship it!